Let's create a simple, minimal, and easy Christmas card. You can use any supply for painting it. I use watercolor, but feel free to choose whatever you are comfortable with. I'll teach you how you can model a simple design like this out of a photo. I chose this Christmas photo. You can also use your own personal photos too. What we need to do first is to simplify this. There are three main elements here: Christmas tree, fireplace, and a couch. So I'm drawing a triangle for the Christmas tree, a rectangle for the fireplace, a simple donut shape for the Christmas wreath, and a simple cube for the couch. I add a rectangle at the top of the cube for the back, and another parallel rectangle for making the volume sense. Now I'm gonna add the details. I'm using Unipen fine liner for the details, but you can use whatever you have, unless you're working with watercolor, which must be waterproof pen. You also can use a sharp black color pencil for watercolor or any other material. At first, I'm drawing my characters here to give some life to the scene. The simplest and easiest way to draw any character is a stick figure. Draw a circle for the head and add eyes and lips based on your own style. Just consider that if you put the eye in the center of the circle, it feels much more cuter. Here, as sitting a stick figure on the couch, I just draw a curved line which follows the couch form, and three other small curves for hands and another leg. For the couch, I just outline the silhouette of the rectangle and the simple cube that I already drew. My second character is a sitting one unwrapping a present. Again, a circle for the head, and curves for the body. Present is just a simple rectangle with zigzag lines on it to showing the half-ripped paper, and two parallel S-shaped curved lines for the ribbon. Then I add three other presents, which are just simple rectangles with ribbons on them. The third character is a standing one holding an ornament in his hand. Don't mind the perfection of your lines and circle. It's not about perfection, it's just about enjoying the process and kind of releasing the stress, so you don't want to stress yourself by drawing itself to think about the perfection of what you're doing right now. Some random circles on the tree for the ornaments. For the tree, just outline the triangle with zigzag lines. For the fire inside the fireplace, just some curved lines in the shape of a triangle will work. Crossed rectangles represent the firewood. I add another rectangle around the first one to create some frame around the fireplace. I add shaky line triangles at the top of the fireplace for a couple of small trees. And small circles for some ornaments. For the Christmas wreath, I just outlined the donut shape with shapy lines and some unformed curved shapes for the ribbons on it. I also like the warmth rake represents to the scene, so I'm gonna add some lines like this to create the feeling of it. Now it's time to paint it. If you're using watercolor or willing to, you don't need to go for any expensive supplies. For the palette, just use any ceramic plates that you have around, and you don't need any kinds of professional expensive watercolor paints. Just go for something that you can easily afford. I use two small brushes here, number 0 and number 4. Again, it's not essential to have two brushes. You can go with one, something between these two sizes. For the green part, I normally like to mix my greens and add a little bit of yellow and blue to it to get to the color that I feel like I'm enjoying it. There is no rule on exactly what kind of green you want to use. Just mix colors and explore to feel calm and get to the color that you like it the best. I normally go for 3 layers when I want to create shading. It's just so simple. And the first layer is a little bit lighter than the next two, so I add more water for that. And paint the whole green parts. Then I add a second layer and just randomly paint part of the shapes, trying to keep the inside lighter and the outside darker because of the fire. And again the third layer the same. For the fire, I use warm yellow and orange. For making orange, I just mix my warm red with warm yellow. To creating the sense of fire, you need to keep the inside lighter or even white and the outside darker and more red. You can go with how many layers you want. I first add the yellow layers and then the orange for the outer parts. I use red for the ribbons and wrapping paper and a couple of the ornaments. And I paint some of the other ornaments yellow. For making the brown, if you do not have the color, just mix red, yellow and blue. And by increasing and decreasing each of them, you can create a tone of warm or cold or less yellowish. For the fireplace wall, first I wetted the whole area and then I add my watery paint around the edge of the rectangle to create such a faded image and show the lightness of the fire around it. I use a clean wet brush to fade the parts that have been already dried out. As it's not too wet, it will dry out so fast, so you have to be a little bit faster for this part. For the couch, you can go with any color you like. It was white on the main photo, but I prefer to color it, so I used a light red for the outer side and a little bit darker one for the insiding parts, to differentiate the inside and outside of the couch. I use the same technique as the fireplace for the floor and the wall. Just be careful to do not add too much water, especially if you do not have a thick paper. You need to be fast for it, and if you can take it apart in 2 or 3 sections, do it separately, as this little amounts of water will dry out so fast, and then you have to add a couple of more water layers to fade out the paint, which can ruin your paper. Also, if you're using a thin paper, just normally paint the floor and the wall to keep your paper safe. For the bricks, I outline them too with a darker brown. And finally I write my message. I just sketch it first with my pencil, and then I use a marker for rewriting it. Happy Christmas.